As a nursery person and a food forest manager, I make a tremendous number of pruning cuts every year, throughout the whole year. For the most part, I use these tiny little pruners. This is my go-to tool for managing these landscapes. And I've learned over time a very simple but very potent technique for being able to use a small set of pruners or secateurs and be able to make some very significant cuts. These are not fancy special pruners. These are Felco number 2s. If you were to buy just one type of pruner, I have no affiliation with Felco, but these have been amazing by me. I don't sharpen them in any particularly great way. These are just decent, good quality pruners. But what you'll see, right now I'm in the process, I'm going to be clearing this black walnut and some black-cap raspberries from this area to develop it into a production bed. And I'm going to do most of the cuts on this tree, most of these branches, with just these tiny pruners. The trick is, whenever I go to make a cut, and I'll show this a number of times, when I go to make that cut, instead of just squeezing to make the cut, I support the branch and flex it away from the cut as I cut. And now here's a branch that's pretty big for a pair of pruners like this. If I flex it, it's effortless. Now I'll go ahead and use the weight of these branches, which the gravity does the flexing for me, to cut them the rest of the way. This is a chop and drop. We're just going to use these leaves in the walkway for now. Since black walnut has some toxicity, we'll just use it in the walkways. And let me show this again on a larger branch. Now here's one that for the most part, if I were just to squeeze on this, it would be very, very hard to do. I could even hurt myself or the pruners. If I take that cut and I flex it as I go, I'm flexing it away from my cut. It's nearly effortless. And again, I'm letting gravity draw it down to chop and drop. Let me do one more just to show you. Here's one that's even thicker. Again, there's no magic trick here of specialty sharpened pruners or what have you. It's simply, as I make my cut, I'm flexing the cut material away. That one was a little tall, so it shot away from me. But again, up close, as I make my cut, I'm flexing it away. The other benefit is that it gives you the material in your hand. Instead of having to go and pick it up again, it's now in my hand so that I can simply, if I really wanted a good green manure, I can go through and twist it as I go. And for chop and drop, you really want lots of fine cuts so that the material lays flat. And so that's how, with a very basic set of pruning shears, you can make larger than what you would believe possible cuts by holding and flexing the material away as you cut. Really encourage you to try this. One other quick bonus tip while we're at it. If you're pruning spiky material, your pruners can keep your hands from bleeding. Let me show you. Here's a black cap that's dyed. I'm cutting it at ground level. And I'm going to use my pruners to grab it. I'm not cutting through it, but that's my grip. And now I can bring it. In this case, it is yet again going to be a chop and drop. And now it's carried it over and it's cut it. So a lot of times when I'm working through multiflora rose or other brambles, my pruners are all I'm touching the material with. I'm cutting it, grabbing it, and then cutting it as I drop. So pruners, pretty wonderful. There's some great tips. Hopefully they work for you.